Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a possible sheet metal version of a round bell mouth with radius. We'll be working with an 8-inch OD or outside diameter, and we're going to transition it to a 4-inch ID or inside diameter, and we're going to give it a 2-inch radius like so. And by the time we get done, we'll be producing this pattern to make this. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so first, let's go ahead and take our biggest dimension, which is 8-inch. And what we're going to be doing is doing half of a circle. We don't need to do an entire 8-inch circle, but just half of that. So let's start off by making an 8-inch vertical line. Alright. So let's go ahead and start off by setting our compass at half of our diameter. So 8 inches divided by 2 will be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there, I'm going to go ahead and find my center. And go ahead and make our circle, or half circle in this case. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a horizontal line right here, dividing this in half. So we're going to do some random marks there. And the crisscross arc, so we can find our center. Okay, so in the same position that you set your compass to make this circle, go ahead and make this quarter of a pi in 3 pies. So put sharp point right here, strike an arc there, sharp point there now, and strike an arc there. Okay. Now let's go ahead and join this arc to the center of our circle so we can get a pi. Okay, so what I want to do right now is take some time to explain what we got going on here. So if you notice, we got a total of 3 pies, so 1, 2, 3. So this is basically telling us that it's going to take a total of 12 pies to make this round bell mouth. So if you see right here, this will be 1, 2, 3. And then if you imagine this with 3 more pies, it'll be 4, 5, 6. So if you times that by 2 on the other half, it'll be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's basically what this means. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, now let's go ahead and divide this pi in half. So let's go ahead and throw some crisscross arcs. Alright, perfect. Okay, so again, go back to this compass. So in the same position that you had this set to make your circle, go ahead and put your sharp point right here, and then strike an arc, a random arc on the top. Now put your sharp point on this end here, and then crisscross the previous arc. So what we got going is a 90-degree line. So you have your vertical and your horizontal that make your 90, and this is going to come into play so that we can make a 2-inch radius. Okay, so now that we got that, now let's go ahead and concentrate on the 4-inch ID or inside diameter. So let's go ahead and set our compass. Half of 4 will be 2. So I'm going to go ahead and set my compass at 2 inches. So 1, 2. I'm going to lock it in place like so. Okay, now put your sharp point at the center of your circle. And go ahead and make that circle now. Okay, in the same position, go ahead and put your sharp point here now. And then what you're going to do is establish your radius, your 2-inch radius. So if you can see, like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and divide this in half, this pie. So you can put an arc on the top, put sharp point there and crisscross the previous arc, and there's your center. Like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and divide this 2 more times, and that'll be a total of 4 pies. So 1 here and 1 here. Okay, now let's go ahead and put this point and line it up to the center of that pie. And do a line like so. Same thing here. And do a line like so. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the next step, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to concentrate on these 3 points. And what you're going to do is bring a line down horizontal, or yeah, vertically, to this horizontal line right here. So just follow along. So one of the ways that you can do it is just take a ruler and just line up your pencil point and line up your ruler as straight as possible, parallel to the other line next to it, and then just start bringing in some lines like so. Or if you have the time, you can go this route as well. You can just use a ruler here and then take your square and then just kind of line it up to those points and then bring a line like that. Do the same thing on the next one. Bring a line like so, and the last one, boom. Okay. Okay, now that we got that going, now we're gonna concentrate on these 3 lines again, or these 3 points. And what you're going to do is you're going to basically mirror these arcs, but by going off of these points. So here's what I mean, just follow along. So you're going to put your sharp point on your compass right here, and then open up your pencil point to one of these lines. You're going to lock it in place, and then make your arc like so. Do the next one, keep it in the same spot, open up your compass a little bit more. You're going to lock it in place and do that line. And then the last one, we'll do this one. Open it up a little bit more, lock it in place, and make your line. Okay, easy, right? Okay. Alright, next step is we're going to go ahead and draw some lines from one side to the other of each part of the pie. So here's what I mean. So you're going to put your pencil point here and line up your ruler to the opposite end at this point of the pie, and then draw a line like so. Okay, do the same thing on the next one. Okay, another one. Okay, next. Okay, and then the last one. There it is. So if you see, you've now created a total of 5 sections or 5 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go ahead and number those. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now that we got our layout done, now we're going to go ahead and take this information and transfer it over to our grid so we can get the pattern going. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our pattern grid made. So one of the first things that you want to concentrate first to get your horizontal line on your grid is your length. And your length is determined by the radius that you decided to make your bell mouth out of. So in this case, it's going to be a 2-inch. So what you need to know is, what we need to find out is, what is the total stretch length of this 2-inch radius. So one of the ways that you can do that is you can take one of these flexible tape measures and just simply measure it out. Start from one point and then measure every single point until you get a total length of the radius, and then whatever that length is what you're going to apply right here on your horizontal line. But the other way you can do it, which is the way I do it, is the pi formula. So here's what you do. So we know that this is 2-inch, and if you double that, it'll turn into a 4-inch circle. So what you do is you go 4 inches, and then you're going to do the pi formula. So you're going to go 4-inch times 3.1416 equals 12 9/16. So what that's saying is that from one point all the way around closed loop has a total stretch length of 12 9/16. But since we're only going to want 1/4 of that 4-inch, we're going to go ahead and divide the 12 9/16 by 4. So divided by 4 equals 3 1/8. So that's basically telling us that from this point stretched out to this point here has a length of 3 1/8. So that is what you're going to put right here, a line, horizontal line of 3 1/8. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now as far as your vertical line, that one's pretty much easy. You're really just going to go ahead and concentrate on the longest line within this pi. So from numbers 1 through 5, the biggest line is obviously 5. So you just take your tape measure and you measure that out, and that looks like what, 2 inches more or less. So just to be on the safe side, I want to go ahead and give it a 1/2 inch more. So that'll be 2 1/2 inches vertically. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get my ruler and really point that down so we can get exact measurements. So our horizontal line was 3 1/8, so 1 2 3 1/8, and our vertical line was 2 1/2 inches, so 1 2 1/2. Okay, now let's go ahead and transfer that information to the opposite end of our grid so we can complete it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and cut this in half. So what we're going to do is make a representation of this line right here. So half of 2 1/2 is 1 1/4. Okay, so now that we got this line, which is a representation of this, now what we're going to do is throw a total of 5 lines. So just like what we have here, 5 4 3 2 1, we're also going to do the same thing. So since we already have 2 lines, that's considered a line. So you guys, you can imagine that this is 5 and then this is 1. We need 2 3 and 4, which are going to be right here. So let's go ahead and make this in half. So we're going to do some crisscross arcs. Okay, there's our center. So this would probably be, will end up being 3. Now let's go ahead and do 2 and 4, which is going to be right here. So let's go ahead and divide those in half. So we're going to do that by finding our center. Oops. Wrong spot. Let's try it from here instead. Sorry about that. All right. All right, there it is. So let's go ahead and number these. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, let's begin. So what you're going to do is you're going to start putting your sharp point all along this line, and you're going to be putting it where both the vertical and horizontal lines meet within the pie. So just follow along. So you're going to put your sharp point. Let's start with 5. Put your sharp point right there, and then open up your compass to the widest part of the pie. I'm going to lock it in place like so. As you can see, they should match on both ends. Sharp point right here. Strike an arc on the top and the bottom. There's 5. Okay, let's do 4. Lock it in place. Sharp point on 4 now on our grid, top, bottom. Okay, let's do 3. Lock it in place like so. Go to your grid, top and bottom. Okay, 2. Lock it in place. See that? Top and bottom, and then 1. Like so. Go to your grid, mark it on the top, mark it at the bottom. And that's it. And if everything was done, this pattern should match that grid of our layout. And there it is. Pretty close, right? Easy. All right, so this goes right here. You guys can see that. We can also put it on the opposite end. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so the reason in the very beginning of the video I said a possible way of doing a bell mouth out of sheet metal, or a sheet metal version of a bell mouth, or a round bell mouth, is because normally these bell mounts are not made like this with these amount of pies, but rather it's more of a continuous radius bell mouth. So if you can imagine, it would be, you know, a version of this. As you can see, it's got a flare out on all the way, you know, within the circle, but it's obviously, it would have a flared out radius to it. So this is just a fun way of trying to copy that or mimic that, but out of sheet metal. Obviously this would take you know, pies to make, and then obviously you would have to weld these seams together, which would probably end up being kind of a nightmare for welders. But you know, just like I said, this is just a fun way of making a version of that if that ends up becoming an option. But yeah, you can make something like that, or make this design, you know. So again, just having fun with manipulating these types of layouts to make different types of designs. So yeah, that is pretty much it for today, and I hope you guys liked this video and got value out of it. And if you know of a friend or a coworker that can benefit from using this at work or just having fun, go ahead and share this video with them, and let's get more people start learning how to do these things. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Plenty more to come, so stay tuned. All right, peace.